I've been thinking of sharing the stories about the Myokonin, but been delayed for at least a few weeks. But I feel like I want to do it also for my own sake. So here it is that I have this document I created more than 12 years ago. And I just go from the top. There are many documents, but I'll see how we may be able to share what the world of Myokonin is. Myokonin is a layman living in Japan, lived in Japan, hundreds of people. They have some stories that Daisetsu Suzuki picked up, and I'm so impressed. And I also met the modern Myokonin, Michio-san. So I have lots of files, but from that I want to choose some and see how much I may be able to share and communicate. And if you have any comment, please send it to me so that I may be motivated to do more. Like I said, Myokonin is a layman, believed in Amida Buddha to help, similar to Christianity, but what's most amazing, at least for me, for Amida Buddha, is that Amida Buddha is to help everyone, even those who are sinners. And in fact, they say, because of them, sinners are more important to save. Just like Vipassana does the 10-day course at many prisons, because they are thrown into the prison, and it's very sad they're locked up and couldn't go out. So instead of being penalized, they can go through this Vipassana to, how can I explain this? Be liberated from the burden of karma or whatever happened for them to be in prison. So Myokonin is not the Vipassana, but there's the common element that I see, as much as Daisetsu had shared his view. That happened toward the late years of his life, maybe the last 15 years, except that he was aware of Myokonin for many years, but his work was so much focused on Zen and couldn't write too much about Myokonin except in Japanese. But there was a book with Meister Eckhart as a part of the book. I may have shared previously. That's in English, but it's rare case that he shared in English. But there's some important aspect, commonality. The root, I find it the same, so I want to talk about. So Saishi's poem, I'm cold, but my feet are warm and hands warm. And with Namu Amida Butsu, my mind is warm. Next one. I heard about how to live, and with Namu Amida Butsu, I'm happy to live life is happy. Very simple. The third one, there's no one else like I am that I'm so happy about. I'm happy that I was born as human. Next one is a little long one. Ride on and off, I go on the locomotive of karma. Change the station, change the carriage. Let's change the locomotive of Namu Amida Butsu. I'm happy that given all the karmas I got, everything, all of them, I carry it into the locomotive of Namu Amida Butsu. what a happy person I am. My comment says, Saishi attended every morning and every evening to say Namu Amida Butsu at the priest of Shin Buddhism, Annakuji. This is a remote part of Japan. Just briefly, the story of Shin Buddhism promoted by Shinran spread out mainly outside of Kyoto and big cities. In fact, he was, thrown out of the big cities because of his emphasis on Nembutsu with Namu Amida Butsu. The result is that the people, layman, outside of big cities, had more access with the Shin Buddhism and the Nembutsu. Nembutsu is like a chanting the name of Amida Buddha, which basically says Namu Amida Butsu. Namu is letting go of yourself, and Amida Butsu taken over by Amida Buddha. So that's the little background story. Oh, I found there's another one. This is not Saishi. Kyojuin is the Myokonin. I haven't read this, so I have to go slowly. Someone mentioned this, that I won't have my mind settled. And the answer to that, or response to that, is, oh, that's your self-power. Throw it out. And then pray diligently and listen, meaning pointing Amida's help. And this other person says, oh, that is so. So what you mean is to throw my mind out, away, and just follow whatever is to come. This response, yes, that's what it is. And that you cannot save by your own power. So talking about the self-power to other power being the Amida Buddha's power. So they call it the yokotobi, jumping horizontally, yokotobi, horizontal jump. And that is so easy. You just heard about this locomotive and riding the train with karma, and with that karma you can jump off to the other train, which is Amida's train. Isn't it wonderful? And it's not that easy to get this Shin Buddhism and practice Amida with this idea, but there's those sermons and the gathering and people who are within the sect of Shin Buddhism get together. They call it Godoko, meaning walking together. So there's a sharing platform that exists. And actually, that's so interesting. In Zen, it's the self-alone practice. No exchange with any others. And that's very interesting as I talk, because that's precisely is kind of like the difference between the Zen and the Shin Buddhism with Myōkōnin. In Zen, just sit like Dogen. And the Vipassana similar to Zen, Dogen Zen, or Soto Zen is just sit, like 10 days without meeting, talking, no eye contact, and focus on your own. A meditation. So that's Soto Zen, Vipassana, and Rinzai Zen is similar. Your own discovery is what it is. So here, Shin Buddhism, Myōkōnin, or any of those Shin Buddhists wanting to have the Amida to self, have go Doko-san. Doko is same and walk. Together, they work together. A little different, or quite a bit different from Zen approach of alone. And they the people from Shin Buddhism said that's a self-power. It looks like a self-power because it's their own activity, but at the end, when that enlightenment, awakening happens, it's not their own power, because if it's own power, it's still you're playing with your mind to break through, like I was trying to do in my vipassana, to escape from the pain. I was escaping, but I should be thrown out. So here, Shin Buddhism and Myōkōnin and these guys, not to do the self, saving the self or away from the pain, but let the pain to be handled by Amida Buddha. Even those who had sinned can do the same thing. Whereas, like I mentioned, in Vipassana, they have those prison, 10-day courses and so forth, and at the end they get to the same absolute power, not your own power or the other power to take place. But that's the perspective that we can have. So that's related to the last point, that you cannot save yourself by your own power. And I have this comment here. Dogen says, this is a famous saying of Dogen, to know the way is to know about yourself. To know about yourself is to forget yourself. To forget yourself is to be proven by the law of nature. And therefore, to bring you to prove the law of nature is delusion, something like that. So I have that comment here. Okay, maybe I'll just do one more. This is again Kojuin, another Myōkōnin. Let's see if I can. So, to seek which is right or wrong, or truth or not, don't do that. Whoever says anything like that, or whatever the mind may says anything related to that, if you can listen to the voice of Amida to help, and if you receive that, if you have that taken in, there's nothing more perfect or assured than that. So that was this guy, Kyojuin, saying that. And I have a little comment. I haven't read this. I'm just reading whatever I wrote 15 years ago. I'm saying, maybe it's redundant, but let's see what I said at the time. The brain and our consciousness has something objective, and therefore it is to prove the reason of existence with that situation. And that process needs to be checked by, say, Amida Buddha or the way of nature. There's a gap and a strain. To live in this society, in our world, cannot be easily done except by using a mind or the brain. But if we are not to be used by the brain, but to use the brain, wish to use the brain and to have that kept in your mind, then you may have a sense of letting go. As a result, the experiential practicing all that can be enhanced to make this point clear. Something like that. Okay, that's enough. So, to summarize, Zen maybe more intellect and all the visions and stuff with the koan. You have to find the solution for the koan. In Shin Buddhism, they give up trying koan or any logic or using the mind. In Zen, when you work on the koan, you hit the wall, you cannot go beyond, so that your mind become empty. So Shin Buddhism is pushing you, don't think about it. Let the Amida to take over. So it's very direct. So that's one way to characterize the Zen with intellect, and the Shin Buddhism or Myokonin with the compassion of Amida to save and let go of everything. At the end, I was with Vipassana and I was trying to go through the pain, but I was trying my own power. At the 8th day in the afternoon, I felt like I need to go to have an ambulance to go to the hospital or something. And after that, I questioned, is it because I'm trying to escape from the pain? And that's the moment, shift of consciousness. And I looked at myself as if from the way of nature. And then this awakening event took place. That's not the end of it. So that's the point that we should be clearly about this, that human being human with a brain, and it has the habitual pattern to play with it. Even you have awakening or being saved by Amida Buddha, Namu Amida Butsu, those reminder, the charcoal is still burning, the karma is still there and coming up. So you have to deal with it. So there's no guarantee, because once you get deluded, you have still the seed of the delusion, still cooking inside of you, so to speak. Some of them may say that I cleared up. In my case, and many cases of Shin Buddhism and Myōkōnin, even Daisetsu, they are human. You can argue that you have mastered or something of that nature. But to me, it's more like a joke. If you think like that, you're totally deluded, because you're thinking and proving, which is the whole point of letting go and be at the absolute state of being. So let's see if I did do the... Yeah, I guess it's still going on, the video. So that was, 15 years ago or so, something I wrote. And I'm still revisiting, and I'm happy I'm doing it, because I'm looking at myself in the mirror. That in the mirror is 15 or so years ago. I'm here. So it may look like I'm still doing the same thing. Who cares? The process of this life is not to master everything. It's dead if you feel like it. That's why the absolute state of being is just that. And you come back and go, and come back and go back, and still maintaining that. And that's very much is the spirit. And when I die, I'll be dying in the process of this. No accomplishment. And that's the accomplishment. In the process is the result. And that's life of human being. Enjoy your life. Without pain, there's no awakening. Grab it, live with it, let the ego to die, and keep on moving, and still using your mind in the manner that reflect what is to be done. So let's work on it. Thank you.